So here's the thing. There's a reason people say making your first million is the hardest part, and after that, it becomes much easier to grow your wealth. I can say this from personal experience. I made my first $1 million at 18 and have been able to grow it year after year since. This thought was on my mind last night, which inspired this video. I reflected on why making money seems to get easier each year and what makes those initial years so challenging. Sure, I hit my first million at 18, but it came after 4 years of being an entrepreneur. That's the core idea behind today's video. I want to discuss what makes the first million so difficult so you can understand the stage you're at in your journey. This way, you can stay relaxed and appreciate the process, knowing it's part of your path and won't always be this tough. The primary challenge is inertia, the tendency of stationary objects to remain still. Let me simplify it. If you were to take a 3-hour flight tomorrow, the pilot would spend about 5 minutes getting to cruising altitude. During that time, a quarter of the plane's fuel would be used. But the pilot wouldn't worry, that's just inertia at play. Getting an object like a plane moving takes a significant amount of energy. But once it's airborne, it's efficient, barely sipping fuel. That's why it's easy for millionaires to keep earning more. They're already at that altitude with the resources and capital to continue. But if you're just starting out, getting your venture off the ground will require immense effort. That's why today's video will focus on overcoming that inertia and getting you to that cruising altitude. First, I need you to stop comparing yourself to the Musks and Bezoses of the world. Instead, look at athletes, the likes of Messi, Hamilton, and Federer. Watching their interviews, you might admire their dedication and achievements and wish to talk to them, but let me tell you this. As someone who knows many athletes personally, they're often not the best conversationalists during their active seasons. They are completely focused on their goals, dealing with strict diets and intense training, making them uninterested in casual chats or pop culture. They're in bed by 9 p.m., treating their bodies like temples. They're not well-rounded because moderation doesn't exist for them. And that's the mindset you need for making your first million. You need to let go of the notion that you'll be perfectly balanced, leisurely going through life. If you're serious about earning substantial money, everything must be hyper-focused when you're starting out. I'm not going to romanticize it. This isn't an ideal state for humans. We crave social interactions, hobbies, and a complete fulfillment of our needs. But to beat inertia, you'll need to embrace a period that feels unnatural and hard, which is why most people don't succeed. You'll need to accept that for the next 6 to 12 months, you'll be less balanced. You may lose some friends and skip that language course you wanted, or fall short of your gym goals. Think of it like that flight. You need to use a lot of fuel initially to later soar at a higher altitude. I can tell you firsthand, during the years I was building my wealth between 2017 and 2019, I didn't have hobbies, I didn't meet up with friends, I didn't do much of anything outside work. It was only later as my career progressed that I reintroduced these activities and, surprisingly, made even more money. But at the start, everything needed my complete focus. No new hobbies, no casual meetups, no Netflix binges. When you're just beginning, you have to commit to a period of saying no to everything that doesn't align with your main goal. This video is about the principles you need to start building wealth. But I know many of you might be asking, how do I start making money? That's why I launched Digital Launchpad. It's the only educational platform with the sole focus of helping you find your path to financial success. With 10 current programs and more launching monthly, you can access expert training for just $37 a month, or less than 73 cents a day if you opt for the annual plan. Check the first link in the description. It's a decision you won't regret this year. Now, going back to my last point about distractions, consider one of the most notable figures in British history, twice Prime Minister, the Duke of Wellington. If you didn't grow up in the UK, this name might mean little to you, but for those who did, you know he's honored across London with statues and pubs. His greatest victory was defeating Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. What many don't know, unless they've read extensively about him as I did, is that he was once an accomplished musician. In fact, as a child, that was his main pursuit, and he was considered a failure by everyone. Teachers, parents, peers, until one day, after being rejected from a marriage proposal and hearing he'd amount to nothing, he made a life-changing decision. He picked up his beloved violin, walked to the fireplace, and threw it in, watching it burn. If you don't already know his later accomplishments, I encourage you to research them and understand his role in history. Suffice it to say, the reason I'm here speaking to you in English is partially thanks to his shift in focus. He recognized that his violin, while enjoyable and fulfilling, was just a hobby. It wasn't the arena where he would reach greatness. That kind of awareness is crucial. I've had to make similar choices with hobbies in my life. I kept them as hobbies, knowing they wouldn't serve my main path and could be distractions. So if you're listening to all this and still find it hard to put away TikTok or Instagram on your phone, think again. We live in an attention economy, and companies are fighting to grab yours. Developers at Meta and TikTok use the same strategies that make gambling machines addictive. Winning back your attention demands serious commitment to eliminating distractions. When I was 14, I flipped Instagram accounts and played FIFA Ultimate Team, even making money from trading players and selling coins. But I realized this was holding me back from bigger goals. I knew it was a distraction, something I would choose over anything remotely productive. You might be thinking if you could do the same with your life. I'm not telling you to destroy your PlayStation, but start small. Delete any apps on your phone that demand attention without offering a return on investment. Say goodbye to Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, unless you're using them to generate income. If you're mindlessly scrolling through Twitter, ask yourself, is this serving you? If a friend took and took but gave nothing back, would you keep them around? Probably not. So why keep an app that does the same? And before you think I'm being harsh, remember that distractions aren't limited to technology. Most of you watching this likely have friends who invite you out for game nights or bar trips every Friday. I'm not saying cut them out forever, because having fun and socializing is good for the soul, but for the next 6, 12, or 18 months, you must accept that they won't share your focus. 7 hours of socializing and weekly hangovers aren't conducive to your current goals. Think of it like flying in bad weather. Do you really want to face turbulence as you're trying to get off the ground? Now is not the time for distractions. Now is the time for focused work. This intensity isn't sustainable forever. It will make you exhausted and less pleasant to be around. So set realistic goals and timelines for this dedication. One common mistake is making overly ambitious projections without an understanding of what's achievable. If you scroll through the comments on this video, you'll probably find someone claiming they'll be on a yacht next year celebrating newfound wealth. To that person, I'd say, take this kindly. That's unlikely. In 3, 5, or 10 years, it might be a different story. I've experienced this firsthand, meeting people I watched on YouTube years ago, and now interacting with them as peers. But in the short term, becoming a millionaire in a year is improbable, unless you have an established business or background. For most, it's not feasible, and that's okay. What you can achieve in 5 or 10 years, though, will exceed your expectations. Understand that the initial steps are the hardest. Once you overcome them, the journey gets smoother. Setting realistic timelines for goals is crucial. I'm not suggesting taking breaks just to be kind to yourself. I'm saying this because no one can sustain maximum focus for years on end. Humans need balance, social interactions, and downtime. When someone claims they've worked non-stop for 2 years, I know it's not true. Monk mode is a term I use, developed over the past 5 years to describe phases of intense, distraction-free focus. I enter this mode a few times a year to advance my work and also to earn the freedom to enjoy social life afterward without guilt. You might need monk mode for a different reason, to build momentum in your entrepreneurial path. While I could delve into it in detail, I suggest checking out my other videos about it on my channel. Here, I want to emphasize how this method ties to starting your journey. Reducing distractions isn't just about taking things away. It's about applying focused diligence to your sleep, diet, and exercise. This doesn't mean aiming for a six-pack while earning your first $10,000. It means creating a foundation that supports your mental and physical health so you can stay on track. So today's message is to remind you that the beginning is the most difficult. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but that's okay. It's part of the process. The effort required is temporary, and once you get past it, sustaining momentum takes less energy. Apply these principles, and not only will you get off the ground, but you'll do it in a way that doesn't wear you down. Your expectations will be set realistically, and your path will be more manageable. I hope today's video was valuable, and as always, know that I'm cheering you on from afar. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more insights and strategies on your journey to financial success. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.